Hey there and welcome to another episode of Seenu. Today, like I mentioned in the previous episode, we're going to continue the detailing progress that I did in basically one sitting. I ended up splitting it in two parts simply because there was so much footage that it was going to be a little bit too long for one episode. However, since I'm going to be out of town, I figured it would be a better idea just to split it, and this would serve as a bit of a cute video for when I am gone. That being said, I'm not so rushed for time like I was in the previous episode. I'm literally reading the comments right now. The previous video came out just a couple hours ago as I'm recording this, and I'm reading some of your comments and how much many of you enjoyed it more when I was all over the place with my commentary. However, I try to keep some like a certain level of presentation. I may have exaggerated a little bit how much I edit everything. It's not super heavily edited as I may have led you to believe, but it was still fun doing one of those weird episodes. Hopefully this one ends up a little bit less crazy, I guess. In any case, we are going to continue the detailing of mainly this commercial area that has a bit of a residential in the back as well. I can't remember exactly if I mentioned this in the previous episode, but I'm definitely trying, and you're going to see this later during the time lapse, a bit of a new technique for detailing the neighborhoods. Up until recently, I was just simply putting a whole bunch of houses and covering most of the blocks with with trees and vegetation. And with the magic of video editing, I was able to exclude the not so detailed areas of Seenu. I do that every once in a while. There's no shame in admitting it. Sometimes I just can't really detail absolutely everything. But by all means, this doesn't mean that there's like whole areas of the city that are just a mess. My quality standards sometimes are a little bit too high for, and play against my recording schedule. So I have to cut corners, and I oftentimes just point the camera to the wrong side. If you're a YouTuber, I'm sure you do the same thing. And if you're not doing it, trust me, it will save you a little bit of time, thus achieving, the same result at the end. Your viewers won't notice it. In any case, moving forward with the detailing, I went back to this shoreline area of the shoreline, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This segment of land in between the link road, which is the one you're looking at right now, and the water. And I added some paths. You just saw it there, right there on the screen. I used surface painter to mark some gravel on the sand where people walk in more places than others, and I try to match those little paths with the pedestrian crossings, so that just adds a little bit of detail to an otherwise like repetitive segment of road. But I think it came out great. I also took the time to add the rope markings that I didn't add before, which it's funny how such a little change makes everything look so much more or so much nicer in general. It's the devil is in the details, and so am I. You know what? I should probably design a shirt with that phrase on. Now, changing subjects for a moment, what I'm doing right now is setting up second bass route. If I remember correctly, and this was like several episodes ago. In fact, this was the previous bass route. We did it during the first live stream. Wow, that's a long time ago. In any case, I noticed that there was a significant lack of buildings populated, and I think it's because this whole transfer of boats or ferries and passengers into the city wasn't working very efficiently. So I went ahead and set up a second bus route. None of the bus routes that we currently have actually overlap with each other. One, it starts at the harbor we did on episode 3, and this one starts at the little fishery port that we did in 2 episodes ago, basically on episode 11, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if that was the case, but if you look at the population at the bottom, like I mean, you can rewind this video just a little bit. It was sitting at 5,000, and after adding the bus route, it jumped to like 30 something thousand. It will get to that, to like 34,000 or something like that. You'll see it in a moment. It's ridiculous. I don't know if exactly was due to the fact that I added buses. I'm pretty sure that was the main thing. To the point that I had to, well, I'm sorry to say this, but I had to restart the backup city that I deleted a couple episodes ago, mainly to have, you know, some sewage treatment plants and water pumping stations and things like that. In fact, I put like very discreetly hidden water plants all over the place. You can see some of the buildings in the back just flashing, demanding water. But I'm really not sure what to do. I was able to sort of stabilize it. I might have to remove some extra houses from some of the undetailed neighborhoods. I might go back to those and remove a few, especially I think the larger vanilla buildings that I've been using lately, which, yeah, who could have thought that I was going to be using vanilla buildings, but I am. They look great once you remove all the crap from them. They definitely house a lot of people. That's kind of what I was trying to say. And I think that was one of the main causes, because I did add quite a few of these vanilla buildings right by the link road. I think I even did this in the previous episode. I can remember if it's part of this time lapse. In any case, another thing that I'm working on right now is a second radio wave or microwave tower. This one is significantly less. Has a significantly smaller facility compared to the one we did several episodes ago. And this one also has this unique element, which is that it has, or it will have in just a second once I build it, a cell phone tower, proper cell phone tower. So I guess the idea behind this build is to, rebroadcast the main island's signal that comes from the underwater cable, and it's being relayed to this station and then relayed to that cell phone tower, and then to finally get the citizens of the island. But I think I'm gonna have to add a few more than just that cell phone tower. I don't think it will cover realistically, it won't cover this whole place. Now, coming back to this area, to this shoreline, I decided to, since there's so many boats, I can't really say for sure, because the Google Map imagery I'm using as a reference is not very detailed. So there seems to be some structures on the beach, and I'm pretty sure these somehow sustain all these fishing boats. There's also several like big boats that are just like rusting away on the shorelines, kind of like, like abandoned almost. And I just went ahead for that vanilla asset that I think it was included back in the Snowfall DLC. Just figured that it was a nice spot to include it there, and I did, and it looks great, as you saw a second ago. And this is kind of illustrating what I was talking about before. Compare this, well, actually I don't know if you can compare it on this video, but the way I was designing the first couple of neighborhoods is not as detailed as what I'm doing right now, and I think this design looks absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm going to do something that, even though I already designed it, this what I'm doing right here, which is adding curves to the concrete road, the plain concrete road. And this is the wider version, because there's the one that's like theoretically a pedestrian road, even though trucks and cars drive on it. This one does have the parking spaces on the side. In fact, one interesting thing that kind of happened recently but didn't quite talk about it. This was actually suggested by someone in the chat during a live stream I hosted a couple weeks ago, which is that now the traffic manager precedent edition mod, the mode, that mod that allows you to like change the lanes and things like that, now supports being able to turn off parking per road segment, which is amazing, even though I already know how to like trick the game into doing that, at least aesthetically. But going back to what I was saying before, look at that road. I mean, it's 100%, it's really clean. All he has is the road wear decals, the concrete expansion joints, and the curves, and every once in a while a little manhole, and that's it. And it looks amazing. I also made like, gaps. I left gaps of no curve for like the entrance of each of these houses, and to be honest, I think I'm gonna use this technique in many places and in many cities. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And this whole corner of the map right now, I'm trying to like make it look like this road is being paved right now. That's why they look so clean, because like the block before was recently paved. In fact, with those 3 or 4 decals and props, you don't really have to like destroy your road segments with a gazillion dirty decals and things like that. It just makes your life much easier, and it definitely looks nicer. Obviously, if you're building, an industrial area with very grungy style, yeah, of course you want to like put a ton of decals. But I'm always kind of against just having a bit of a salad of decals. I keep saying the word decals. So this new asset by it's a relatively new asset by Mr. Mason, which is that that those planters. So I went ahead and went crazy with those. In fact, I even added my own crops on some of those empty segments to sort of break the repetitiveness of the design. And another thing that I'm going to be doing quite a bit often from now on is using these metal beams as curves. I think they look fantastic, especially if you are using the concrete curves everywhere else. These are nice, a nice contrast. They add a lot of color and detail. And if you remember correctly, I did this the first time for episode 3 when I was building the harbor area. I kind of like lay down the edges using those beams. Now, this little thing over here, where you have this like island in the middle, and which is like really like well designed and everything, and then everything is just dirt roads and muddy roads on the sides. I think it's a great design. I need to come back to that and polish it a little bit, because right now, I made the lanes follow the mud decals, but the actual road underneath goes through that thing. So I definitely need to come back to that, but I really like how it looks. Design wise, I think I'm going to keep it. And this, what I'm doing right here, this big building is a crematorium. It was actually suggested by a viewer during the live stream. And it was a great suggestion, not only because it actually fits the theme, the design of the building fits the theme that we're going for here. But on top of that, I was having a ton of issues with the crematoriums. I don't know exactly what happened, but like I mentioned before, this influx of population all of a sudden started generating death waves. And even though the old crematoriums, at this point I only had 2, well, including this one that you see on the screen, that will be the 3rd, but it seems like they're not being able to reach to every single citizen. So I went ahead and plopped that one down. That one can serve up to, I think it has a limit of like a 10,000 hearses or something like that. So it's definitely going to be enough for a little while. I might put another one down and the different islands, simply so they don't have to drive so much. There's already so many services that are only on this island now that are definitely putting a little bit of strain on the main road networks, even though we don't have traffic jams or anything like that. I mean, how can you have traffic jams with only 30,000 population? I guess you can if you funnel everything down to a road, but in this case, there's multiple ways of going most places. But as soon as we start working on the other islands, that's definitely going to become a problem. So we'll have to address that when the time comes. And actually, talking about other islands, I want to answer a question that it's been recurring for a while, and I already answered this many times before, but it seems to, there's always new viewers that haven't necessarily watched the rest of the series, even though they should, especially before asking questions. But it's I want to talk about the airport. So the most common question that I do get is, are you going to build an airport? And the answer to that question is yes, I am. In fact, there's a whole segment of the map that's specifically designed and terraform, for the airport. So that's definitely coming. The second most common question is, when are you going to build the airport? The answer to that is, I'm not sure. I think we have a big enough population right now that justifies having an airport. So I'm definitely going to start thinking about that. In fact, I mean, don't get me wrong. I wanna build the airport as much as you want to see me build an airport. It's not like I'm just pushing it away because I don't like it. So much so that I think that is the reason why I'm kind of holding off so much. It seems like every single week there's new assets that come out on the workshop that will help me create a much more realistic and good-looking airport. And even though I can, of course, start building it today and later down the road make adjustments to it, I kind of prefer to sort of complete a project and just let it be. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. If I have to go back to every single thing that I know that I can improve and then redo them all the time, even though sometimes I do that, but it's not the best idea in the world, I don't think. So when I'm going to build the airport, I can't answer that for sure, but trust me when I tell you that it's definitely coming soon. I'm aiming, to be honest, I'm just straight up telling you, I'm aiming for late June or early July. So we're definitely going to be working on the airport before we start tackling on, the luxury resorts on the other islands, which is another question that I get a lot. Now, how are you going to build a fancy resort? Yes, I am going to build that. When? I have no freaking idea when I'm going to do that, but it's definitely coming. And I'm also really excited about working on those, probably not as much as I am about working on the on the airport, but definitely looking forward to those as well. And as we enter the last stretch of this time lapse, while I add tons of vegetation to the backyards of many of these houses. And by the way, this elementary school that I put down in between cuts, I was looking at the education statistics, and we're definitely lacking coverage for elementary school, which I think it was related to a worker shortage issue that I was having, right before I put it down. And even though the style of the building, it's, kind of like modern and futuristic, the fact that it had the solar panels at the top, made it blend in much nicer. And I think just adding tons of vegetation in the back definitely sold the effect, or made it fit with everything else around it. But the fact that the music is playing in the background means that I'm done for this episode. I have no more time. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving this video a like. That's very much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, I want to encourage you to go subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for some videos coming up. They will involve Seenu. They will involve cinematics, maybe, and they're going to be amazing. But that's all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one.